Indeed. Let me allow Colonel Inyam to weigh in. Do you agree with what Barrister Shittu said?
No, I think that point, you will be dancing or playing into the hands of the insurgents. In counterterrorism, you do not allow them to detect government program. Because if government had done that, that would have been a success. Usually, when government has to continue with this program, never give in to any sign of it. I agree with you that it is a very sad time. And in fact, that in itself begs the question whether the timing of the attack on the children was not timed to the effect of trying to stop the government from marking the 100 years we are. I do not share with us celebrating, but I think it's not worthy that we need to mark the time. What I would say is that you call it a marriage. I call it a forced arranged marriage. And this is why some of us thank the present government for giving us the chance of transiting from what I call a forced union to possibility of translating the thing to a voluntary union. Now, when people ask the word, we have what we call the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If you take those three terminologies, one, federal. Federal presupposes that it is an entity that people reach in an agreement and by consensus subsume their sovereignty, some part of it, to the states. And in our own case, we are not really practicing federalism. Now, that's on federalism. On republic, we are, if to show what we are in Nigeria is to use the antinomy of republican. We are still basically feudal in mindset, in the way our people are being governed. Our people are yet to be free in the sense of it. I'll give you an example. In feudal system, land tenure is usually, there's no free holding of property. As we speak, in Nigeria, there's no free holding. There's nobody who has a freehold of any land tenure. This is not democracy. This is not a republican. That smacks of feudalism. And I think this is why we need an avenue to deal with this issue of the Land Tenure Act. And I'll scoff on the issue of what we call Nigeria. People forget that the mistress, Flora Shaw, was not even a wife of Lugard. It was Lugard's mistress. She coined the word Nigeria for Niger area, the area Niger. Nigerians don't even know how does the word Niger comes from. In fact, a priest relation of mine brought to my notice is from the word Nja, which is a Moroccan word for a river. Now, the thing is, Nigeria is built around two rivers, Niger and Benue. So should the name appropriately not be Niger, Benue, Nigeria, or Nigeria? The point I'm making, before this appellation was given to us as Nigerians, what were we? We were different nations. We were different ethno-nationalities. So when people at times try to bring down what we were and what we are still and what we will be, that is, we will always be, I will always be a Boki man. You will always be a Yoruba man. And I guess the gentleman here may be
I'm of a man.
Of a man.
From Kwara.
From the North Central.
No, of a man, Yoruba man.
From
Yoruba man. So you always remain a Yoruba man. In other words, the names of country can change. Like Shaw came and give us a name. This name can go off, but one remains. Just
so
like
you feel the Federal Republic of Nigeria, those three key words are faulty.
We are very pretentious. We are not answering to those names in every respect.
Interesting, because we shall be looking at the national conference. Sure. We shall try to do some agenda setting for the national conference. But just before we move into that realm, I want us to look at the celebration, the style and manner.
Oh, yes.
Barrister Shittu, do you agree you've not answered my question on the issue of legality of the marriage, which of course is a cause of which actually brought about the issue
Well,
of the centenary celebration.
The respected Colin, alluded to that. If you are talking of a marriage, there must be the element of consent.
Sorry, the reason why I'm asking this, some people have said somewhere that after the 100 years, that the amalgamations cease to exist. Well, by the document.
Well, the amalgamation was initiated by means of a treaty. You understand what I'm saying? But the question is whether that amalgamation has legitimacy in terms of having the consent of the constituent units. You understand me? So the first arrangement. And that is why issues raised by that amalgamation still continue to haunt us today. And that is why we need some kind of conference in order to be able to resolve some of the contending issues. And so that amalgamation is also relevant to the extent that we need to re-examine that particular experience and see whether the issues thrown up by that particular experience is relevant.
And just a moment. Yes. Let's listen to President Goodluck Jonathan on Centenary and the reasons behind Nigeria's celebration. Let's take a look at President Jonathan's speech on the Centenary, and we'll come back to discuss more.
Today, as our nation marks its first 100 years, we look back with gratitude to God and with pride in our citizens. We look forward also to the future with hope and confidence. In this hall and beyond, I am delighted to welcome many of our past, current and future leaders, as well as our friends and partners from near and far, persons and nations that have stood with us in times past, and whose friendship we will continue to cherish. This gruesome and mindless act of savagery is not Nigerian. It is not African. Let me assure all Nigerians that we will spare no resource in bringing those murderers to justice. It is now time that we agree as African leaders that acts of terror against one nation is an act of terror against all nations.
That was President Goodluck Jonathan at the centenary celebration of Nigeria. Before I allow my guests to talk about it, we'll take a short break. And when we return, join us because we shall be looking at the impact and the implication of the centenary celebration as we look ahead of the national conference. Don't go away. We'll be right back.